All right, all right, all right. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you're having a fantastic evening. We got a good show for you today. Sorry it's a little later than normal. New baby, new time schedule. I'm already always late. Now, Nova helps me to do that. Okay, so we got a couple more cast members today. I'm going to introduce everybody same way that we always do, just a little bit different format. I'm excited for this show because we got to talk about some stuff. The last one was great. I hope this one's going to be the same. So if you could share this video for me right now and let everybody tune in. Welcome to Sum of All Parts. I'm going to introduce you again to one of the co-hosts, Mr. Real, or panelists, I should say. Say what's up, brother.
Hey, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
All right, all right. We're going to go head on over to Mr. Dallas Carter X. Say what's up, brother.
Peace and blessings, everybody. How are you this evening?
Got my man Isaiah Reed. Say what's up, Isaiah.
Yo, it's good.
Got my man Chris. Chris, say what's up.
What's going on, everybody?
Then we got the lovely John Tisha, Chris's beautiful wifey.
Hey guys, happy Sunday.
And we have the lovely, outspoken Miss Gabby. How you doing, sister?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Everybody is good. You guys ready for this?
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
All right.
Ready
So
to go.
here, Ashley's back. Let's see if we can get her to come on screen. There she is. Okay. And then we have one more new addition, just like my man Isaiah. We have Ashley. Say hello,
Hi,
Ashley.
Mom. Hi. Can you hear me?
All right, all right. Yeah, we hear you. Okay, so we are live. I'm about to mute that. I hear something in the background.
Some background noise?
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about it. If I mute you guys' mics, it's only because there's background noise, okay? So anyway, we're going to jump right into this first discussion. First and foremost, want to say condolences to the Trump family for the loss of his brother. Ironically, that's going to be the starting point of this discussion. All right. Mr. Real, since you're the one that introduced that to me, brought that to me, go ahead and head this. Talk to me.
So I was checking out a couple posts on Facebook and seeing some stuff on Twitter, and everybody's been hashtagging the wrong Trump. You know, this man just lost his brother who he considered to be his best friend. And I know how that feels because I lost my little brother 2 years ago. He was my best friend. So, you know, I think we're dealing with a very ignorant and heartless society that, you know, we've allowed media and fake news to get us to a point where we hate so much that, you know, we have no compassion no more. And I think that's one of the biggest problems with our country right now. There's just a lack of compassion, a lack of love. And a lot of these young people now, they don't even know what love look like. And so I think we need to start, really start, man, learning how to love again. Because I think that was real foul and ignorant, you know. And then there was a bishop, you know, church folk, you know, saying the bishop guy, he came out, he said, "Dear Grim Reaper, you took the wrong Trump. You know, and for you to say that you are a believer in God or believer in Christ and a Christian." And the first thing Jesus told us, you know, the first commandment he told us was to love. And you turn around and say, Grim Reaper, you took the wrong Trump. They need to shut your church down, stop tithing to your ministry, and they need to go somewhere and knock you upside your head with a bottle of holy water or something, you know, to be that ignorant to get up and say something like that. And especially as many people as you supposed to be responsible for. And I hope you hear this. You can call me, inbox me, whatever, because I tell you the same thing. It was ignorant and it was stupid. And I'm going to let somebody else, you know, get on the subject. But yeah, we need to learn. We need to relearn what true love means.
I could not agree with you more, my brother. That is real. Dallas, how do you feel about it, bro?
I have to be honest. I actually never saw the hashtag. This is news to me. But I agree with Pastor Real, you know, that no matter how you feel about somebody, you should always show respect to your leadership of your country. And we should give our condolences to the president. So I'm giving mine right now.
I heard that. Isaiah, what about you, man? Give me your thoughts. How do you feel about them actually mocking and saying something like that about Trump, you know, and about his brother?
Man, I really do think is a tragedy when it comes to this type of situation. For me right now, I'm not really focusing too much on the negativity. Right now, I'm trying to focus on my purpose. I'm trying to focus on bettering my life and doing what I need to do. I feel like the more that we pay attention to these people, the more that we really give them power in these types of situations. So right now, I'm really just trying to focus on bettering my life. And I do think it is really quite a tragedy when it comes to people mocking somebody who died in this type of situation. But for right now, I'm just trying to focus on my purpose, and I'm trying to stay away from the negativity when it comes to
Gotcha.
the people doing these types of things.
Got you, my brother. How about you, Chris?
I seen it on the news, and you know some of the news stations. I really haven't looked too much into it, you know, as far as what was said. But kind of just want to echo what everybody else has said. You know, it's a tragedy. I mean, it is a part of life, so you know that those type of things happen. But to mock it and to make fun of, you know, the president or his brother for it, I didn't see what was said, but that right there, that's wrong. Yeah, I disagree with that. But you know, my condolences too. You know, if I lost my brother, I'd be hurting.
I heard that. I heard that. All right, Miss John Tisha, how do you feel about it?
Well, my first thought is do unto others as you would like them to do to you. And I'm pretty sure there isn't anyone on this earth that would appreciate or be okay with anyone digging on their family that's passed. I mean, that's a deep wound in a relationship. That's like a soul bond right there. And to, in a sense, dirty it up just because you have an issue with the person doesn't make it okay. It doesn't make it right. And if we're trying to be better in this world, then that's definitely not the way to do it.
I hear that, sister. That was very good. Straight up. Miss Gabby.
My honest opinion about the whole situation, I did see a post on it on the news. Um, yeah, people they were saying some bad things. I didn't comment. I didn't. This was something I actually stayed out of. I just didn't feel like I had the need. I do feel bad because here's the thing: death is no coming back from. You know, you get one life and you get to live it. And how you choose to live it is on you. I don't know his brother. I've never heard anything about him, so therefore I cannot judge him. So I would never go on a post and say, "Oh well, they took the wrong Trump," or
Right.
it should have been the other one. You see what I'm saying?
I hear
Regardless
you.
of how I feel about a person, do I? I'm not the biggest Trump supporter, but do I want him to die? No.
There you
Honestly, if
go.
something did happen to him, I would feel some type of way. Just because I'm not a Trump fan or on the Trump train, I would feel some type of way if something really did happen to him, because that's just the type of person that I am. But on another note, the type of things that I see with people, like they're saying one thing, that like you have people that's actually saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe that you're saying this because Trump brother passed away," and then you got people saying, "Oh well, George Floyd passed away and he deserved it because he was a criminal." So in the same sense, like so people
Very
deserve
good
to
point.
die because they lived a certain lifestyle or had a certain past. You see what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
just give
Gotcha.
it's, I do feel bad. So I'm not one of those that's saying, "Oh yeah, he it should
I
have
hear
been
you.
the other part." No, I'm not with
I
that.
hear you. Let's move on over to Ashley. Thank you so much for that opinion, Miss Gabby. All right, Ashley, go ahead. Tell them how you feel. What do you think about it?
Okay. Can I be real now? So literally I feel like it just fits the narrative. Like if we're gonna be honest about everything, let's just look at the way, the media spins things and the meaning behind everything. And I feel like whoever put that out, there was a purpose, intentionally did that. And really, it's taking away or taking our focus off of what we really need to focus on. And it's crazy because earlier I looked up the Latin meaning of emotion or feeling, right? And it said amore. And when I looked it up, I normally like
Hey,
write
I
it
can't.
down.
Hey, I cannot hear you at all. Ashley, you are fading in and out. I'm gonna move over. I'm gonna move over to Russo real quick, and you try to fix your sound, okay?
Hey,
Go ahead, Russo. How do you feel about it, brother?
Ashley, if you need to help yourself out, see if you have any headphones because that'll alleviate all the problems. Hopefully. Anyways, well, it's one of those. If somebody dies in somebody's family, any decent human being, especially those that are on a liberal belief system, should be decent and human and either not make a statement. If you have nothing nice to say nothing at all. And as opposed to, it is what it is. It was the wrong Trump, or the wrong Trump is what Donald Trump and the GOP would call sarcasm. I don't think really anybody should make jokes about human life. And last one was Donald Trump's not offered a word of condolences to the 170,000 families who've lost family members to Trump's coronavirus. It's completely unrelated. It's sad, and it was supposedly his best friend. It's again just something that's dividing people because for some odd reason we feel okay to hate each other so incredibly much.
Definitely right, man. I feel you. For me, I think that is just poor taste, straight up, man. To talk about anybody and bragging on the fact that they died, and then to say that it's the wrong person that died, to me, that's just, come on, man. Like, for real. Everybody gets so uptight about everything when somebody says something bad about with the whole George Floyd situation. Everybody went crazy, man. But this is our president, who's also a human, and he's not the only person that lost a brother. Somebody else lost a son or a father or a brother, or however you want to look at it. And that's just like it's insulting. And then you say this the wrong Trump, so you're wishing death on a president for what? Like, you literally are you're being insensitive about it, and then you're wishing death on a president. Not right. Not right. I don't agree with it. So I'm gonna pull everybody back up over here. Okay, before we keep on going, for everybody that's tuned in right now, just so you know, the point of this show is, I guess it's if you want to call it like a minority discussion kind of thing, but you see Russo down there because Russo is Russo. That's my buddy. And we need his opinion as well. So it can't just be, I didn't want to make it like this show is just about, minorities. I wanted it to be a discussion, getting the point of view from minorities. All of us here have a different background. A lot of us agree on certain things. A lot of us disagree on other things. Like you heard Ms. Gabby say, she's not really a Trump fan, but she respects him as the president. She wouldn't wish death on him. She's not a Republican. I think you lean more towards like the Democratic side, right, Gabby? Yeah. We're trying to switch her. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, this is the point of this show, man, just to bring up the discussions and get the point of views and see where everybody stands on all these different topics that are dividing our country, and we're trying to heal that, bring understanding, and bring our country closer together. So let me unmute everybody. 1 second. Let me bring Ashley back in. Make sure she's back good. Okay. All right. So what is that feedback? I hear it still.
What is the feedback? I hear it too.
Can you hear it now? Yeah.
It's in somebody's background.
Yeah. Let me see. Hold on.
Wait, does it sound like a television?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me go get my husband. One second.
Do your thing. Do your thing. No, it's not her. I can hear it still.
I think it might be coming from Ashley's background, but it's a little better than it was. I know. Sorry.
Are we?
No, it didn't get any better. We got to work on her connection.
I don't know. Okay. Well, okay.
I'm in the country. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Okay. So, the next topic that I wanted to talk about, I want to share this video with everybody. I want you guys that haven't heard this, if everybody could please mute your mics, because I hear that background noise. Mute your mics for me real quick. So I pulled this up. Share audio, share. Okay, so everybody can see this on here. I want you guys to hear what this lady had to say. All right.
I don't care if somebody decides to loot a Gucci or a Macy's or a Nike, because that makes sure that that person eats. That makes sure that that person has clothes. That makes sure that that person can make some kind of money, because this city obviously doesn't care about them. Not only that, reparations.
Did everybody just hear what she said? Did y'all hear that lady talking about? Oh my goodness. Okay. That's an issue. And that's what I was talking about. People wonder why I go so hard on the Black Lives Matter movement. There you have a leader of the organization, of the movement, flat out saying it's okay to loot because it's a form of reparations. That is the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard in my entire life. It bothers me. Straight up, it bothers me. So I'm going to start off with you, Gabby, because you are more of a supporter of Black Lives Matter, the movement, not the organization, as we spoke about the last time. But I want to give you the floor, and I want you to go ahead and talk.
Okay, so I seen this video. I actually seen part of the clip. Part when she started talking, I heard what she was saying, and I'm not gonna lie, I cut her off. So I did not get to finish it, because once she started saying who owed her this, and we and looting was okay, and this is how we're getting it back, I was like, okay, she clearly done lost her damn mind. That's basically what I felt about it, and I cut her off. I didn't even finish it because it was the most ignorant thing I think I've ever heard. And I'm sitting here like, she got to be on some kind of drug, something ain't right. None of it made sense to me. I couldn't even watch it. That's how pissed I was. And then sometimes I sit here and tell my husband, and he could tell you. And I think he says to me, he's like, babe, but you're not racist. I'm like, no, I'm not racist. But goddamn, some black people get on my damn nerves. I do say that to him. And he be looking at me like, why would you say that? Because that's how I feel. Some of them need to stop with the foolishness. This shit is ridiculous. And it's getting to the point, like, if festivity was a word, well, here it is. That's beyond the point of festivity, to where they say the most ignorant things. I'm sitting here like she was dead serious, and none of it made sense. Like, who gave her the platform? First of all, need to just pull the damn rug from up under her, because I couldn't even watch the whole thing. When she started talking, I gave her a few seconds, and the shit she was saying, excuse my language, I'm really sorry. I didn't finish.
Well, can I ask you something, Gabby?
Yes, sir.
So you being you, because you know I love you to death, straight up, and I think you're dope. How does that make you feel, right? Because you are a supporter. You are a supporter of Black Lives Matter. How does that make you feel to hear, because this is what we were talking about before. Remember when we first started talking, like you didn't get what I was saying when I was talking about these things. And now to hear this come out on national television, on the news, her basically promoting it and being okay with the looting and all the things that they do, how does that make you feel now, being a supporter of Black Lives Matter? Does it like switch you up a little bit? Does it make you feel a little more ill, or make you open your mind up a little more?
Part of it, once again, the whole Black Lives Matter movement, remember, I'm not with it. I'm not with the looting. We're not against, people standing up and fighting for what's right. But I'm not with the looting. I'm not with the thugs. I'm not with the violence. I'm not with none of that. But at the end of the day, if you're standing up and you're fighting for your rights, meaning you're fighting for what's right, I'm fighting with you. And it's not just Black Lives Matter. It's with whatever race matters. I'm with you 100%.
Guess what, Miss Gabby? You know what you just sounded like right now?
What?
You didn't sound like Black Lives Matter. You sounded like a true American. You sounded like a street light, ma'am. You did not sound like Black Lives Matter. You sound completely different than the lady that we just heard right now in that clip. And that's amazing to me, because are an example. You are an example for real to the other people that do have their heart in it. Like you said, you do stand for Black Lives Matter as the cause. And I feel you. I do too. I feel you on that. But the way that you just explained it is exactly how I do. You stand for everyone, not just Black lives. You stand for everybody.
I
You know
do,
what I'm saying?
and
And that's the beauty of it.
that's really what upsets me when people like her get out there and then they do this stupid stuff, and then we're sitting here like saying, oh well no, it's not the black people that's doing this. And I was one of them. I was like, no, but look, it's Antifa and it's this, and some of them are really with the foolishness. And it's like I'm sitting here trying to, stand up for the right things, for the right causes, for the right people, and then here you are coming out with this crap about who needs to get reprimanded and get money and 40 acres and a mule. And man, look, this 40 acres and a mule thing is over and done with. We came a long way, a whole long way. Like,
go ahead, sister.
Stop. At this point, when I say Black Lives Matter, I want everybody to understand where I stand with Black Lives Matter. And I mean, it's for the right reasons. It's for the cause of saying, let's treat everybody equal. If I'm black and you're white and we both walk up and you don't treat me the same way, that's what we're trying to get a better understanding of, and a better feeling for everybody to just come together and be treated equally. I could tell you some stories. And when I tell you these stories hurt, they hurt. And it's okay. But that don't mean you gotta walk around with a chip on your shoulder. You know what I'm saying? At some point you gotta dust that shoulder off.
I hear you, Mr. Real. You over there falling asleep. What? Hold on, your mic muted. Go ahead, Mr. Real. Weigh in, man. How you feel about it?
Man, listen. These young people crazy, man. I mean, it's just a result of lack of discipline. You know what I'm saying? And it goes back to what I said in one of the previous shows. When you take the discipline out of the home, or when you remove the head, it affects the rest of the body. And so you can remove the head with a father being in the house, because when you strip him of his authority and say he can't, discipline his children, now you still removing the head, and now that's affecting the body. And so just, watching what she said, I was like, this is the most ignorant stuff I've ever heard. And it's just more proof that these young people want a reason to tear up. They want a reason to rebel. And and this generation, the latter end of the millennials and the zombie generation, which is Z, they have an entitled mentality where they think they're entitled to get something for nothing. And so they want everything quick and fast, and they don't want to work for them because their attention span is so short. We had, if we did a book report, we had encyclopedias we had to look through, or go to the, the library. Now they could just cut, copy, and paste something off of Google, and they're not learning nothing. The rap music and the stuff that they putting in their mind is dumbing them down, way down, and so it's really affecting them. I saw a video today where a guy was asking them, do they stand with the rioters, or is it okay to riot and violence? And most of them was young people, and they all said, yeah, violence is necessary. Well, why is violence necessary? If you got to get your point across, you got to use violence to get your point across, then you're defeating the purpose. Because the Bible says a kind word turns away wrath, so a soft answer will not
turn away anger. Yeah,
right. So now y'all want to come out here and act wild out and that crazy. And I see some videos where some of these young people been getting the stew kicked out of them, and then they whining like babies. Well, if you got that energy to be tough and tear up, businesses and establishments and riot, now you're gonna get mad because you done come across the wrong person, and they didn't let you have it. Well, hey, you get what you asking for. You know what I'm saying? So I think they just need a bunch of fathers to run on the street with belts and just start whooping their behinds, man.
You know what? We close by. We should do it.
Yeah, because it's out of control, man. Just the stuff they do in Chicago, and they went and looted a children's hospital, man. What you
I already know that made me so mad, bro. That made me so mad. We're gonna talk about that too. I want to jump Isaiah in here. For those of you who don't know who Isaiah is, Isaiah, we met him by I don't know if you remember, about a couple weeks back. He shared a video and it was heartfelt, man. And he had got into it with his family, and they got mad because Trump kind of outed him a little bit by sending something to the House because Isaiah actually turned out to be a Trump supporter, and all his family's Democrats. So they kind of hit him hard. But that's a story for another time as well. But I want to get his opinion because he's a very, very, very intelligent young man, and that's the reason why I wanted him to be a part of this show. All right, so go ahead, Isaiah. How you doing, little brother? Go ahead and give your piece.
I'm doing good. I would have to say personally, I don't really want to be a representation of my generation. Oh my gosh, like Jesus, like these homies are crazy, yo, crazy. But in my humble opinion, I think that honestly things are kind of working out perfectly. And I know it sounds kind of weird, kind of strange,
I get what you're saying. For them to come out and
but
say that they okay with the looting and all that kind of helps everybody else to see like, yo, these guys ain't really what we thought it was.
right. So I feel like honestly, the Democrats and the far leftists, they're doing their job way better than way better than us, bro. Like they're doing our job better than us. Like that's crazy. That's crazy. It's almost
Explain. Go
like
ahead. Give them what you mean.
they're turning people away by just doing what they do. They're by them doing what they're doing, they're like they are helping us. They are helping us.
I agree.
But lastly, I just really want to say, like, on a global scale, I feel like this is it's not good. It's not good, but it is good because now people are laying in their own crap. They're laying in the same crap that they placed their bet on, if that makes sense. The same cities that vote these people in, vote these far leftists in, they're finally understanding. Hopefully they can understand by seeing all of this violence and all of this BLM stuff and all of these people looting their stores and these houses and everything. Hopefully they could finally understand that this is, maybe we should do something different. Maybe we should try something a little bit different. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So I think, honestly, hopefully these types of situations could help these people learn that maybe we should vote a little bit differently and do something a little bit different to save these cities, because a lot of this stuff is happening in democratic cities and people are voting this type of stuff in. So
you're correct.
I could say the dopest speech ever. I could kill it, but I'm telling you, any words that I say can't compare to the stuff that they're doing to themselves. So that's all I
My brother, I couldn't agree with you more. You are such a great person, dude. Like, I've been waiting for you to come on this show, man, because your voice and you being a young person, a part of this generation, and I know you said you don't want to be a voice for this generation and all, but it's important that you are, because you are a different mind than what's normal, and you're what's needed. You're a voice that is needed. So hopefully people start paying more attention to you, because I believe that you're going to be a great leader. I believe that you already are a great leader and you just don't even know it yet. But we're going to bring it out of you, little bro. I appreciate you sharing your opinion, all right?
Thank you.
No problem. All right, let's go ahead over to Miss John Tisha.
Hey, guys.
Hey, John Tisha. Matter of fact, let's bring up Chris, too, because you guys are a package deal. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Chris up, too. All right. John Tisha, you go first, ladies first, and then Chris, you jump right in after her.
So Gabby had said something that sparked something else, because I have thought about it too, and she said that I'm over here defending you guys and you do the opposite of what I'm trying to defend the cause for, and you're over here making a fool of yourself, therefore you're making a fool of me. She didn't say that, but that's like kind of where we were going with it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm over here, I'm stepping for you, I'm vetting for you, but you're making me look like a fool because you're acting like a fool. And it just brought, yeah, you know, like when we're trying to take one step forward, you're over there throwing a hissy fit and we're taking 2 steps back. Like, it's so frustrating. And my husband says this a lot. I don't know if he thought about this while listening to Isaiah, but it came up to my mind. And he often says, sometimes you have to let something fail in order to see what's wrong with it so you can find a solution. And also so the people who are making the wrong choices, hopefully they can see like, oh, crap. Okay, that didn't work doing it my way. Maybe seeing it how it didn't work, we can see what the problem is and then find a solution, and maybe that'll open our minds to take different steps next time. So I see it kind of like that, like Isaiah was saying, it's good and it's bad.
I agree.
Go, babe.
All right. So
hold on, wait, Chris. You always doing dropping some bombs, dog. I love when you go. I love when you get to going. So I just had to say that. Go right ahead.
All right. The video. Okay. So I watched it. I watched it quite a few times, just because of some of the outlets that I watch. So what I believe that video reflects is the way our media, and not just our media, I want to specifically say the news outlets, the major news outlets have transformed over the decades. And what we're seeing now is, how's the best way to put this? So when they have an agenda, well, let's start with the way that these major networks are built. They are ran by the owners, the staff, and the people who contribute. They are the people that are pushing the agenda. So what we get is we get their narrative, we get it forced onto us, and it's almost like a brainwashing, something that happens slowly. They've been doing it for years, decades. They've slowly put us into this mode where now everything that we see, we believe that it's true. I mean, for example, they've done such a good job with the minority community that they'll make you go against your fundamental beliefs. You know it's wrong, but you'll still side with them out of fear of being shamed, out of fear of being punished. Yes. I mean, I'll give you a real quick example. In the minorities, especially with the Hispanic Latino population, there's a lot of us that grew up Catholic. A lot of what the left and the Democrats are pushing in organizations like BLM, they go against our fundamental beliefs. And yet we will find ourselves siding with them because if you don't, like I said, you're shamed and you're punished. And even when we realize it, I mean, it's a struggle to pull ourselves back. So what this young lady was saying, I don't even know if she was young because I couldn't see her face because this whole COVID thing. But what this lady was saying, that is being continued to be pumped out there. And some of us, like, there's, that they're a little bit older, it might not influence us, but it's the kids, it's these younger teenagers that I'm worried about, because those are the people that are seeing this because she's on a major network and they're thinking that that's how it should be. And it's not just affecting the Black community, it's affecting the Hispanic Latino community, the Asian community. People are coming together thinking that this is the way they need to act when they're not getting their way. They need to go riot, loot, and break into stuff.
I agree.
It's like what's popular now, and that's what they're soaking in.
Well, and you know what's even deeper than that, man, is you gotta remember, national news, like it goes through commercials. On commercials they'll talk about things and then they'll show this clip and they'll highlight this, right? And there's young people that watch it, just like you was about to touch on, Chris. The young people, the young kids that watch this, then they see and they're like, you know what? If they out there and they doing it and we support Black Lives Matter and it's the leader of Black Lives Matter and she said it's okay for us to go and want to do this, they teaching them to go ahead and it's fine. Go right ahead, break into the store. Go right ahead, take the Jordans. Go right ahead, take the jersey. You know what I'm saying? They're teaching them things that I don't think any parent should want their kid to go out and do, because if they start doing it while they're young, when they get older, there's a 99% chance, man, they're going to keep on doing it because they think it's okay, because they think they're entitled to it, because they feel that the world has treated them unfairly or white people owe them something. And it's a bunch of bullshit. That's all I'm saying. Which
is also a really another good reason why parents should be present inside the home and starting young, knowing what their kids are watching, knowing what they're listening to, especially when they notice something different about their behavior. I mean, Chris and I, we had to do the same thing with our kids. My middle son, Davian, he he loves watching YouTube, and he soaks it up like a sponge. And so at one time we're like, hold on, what are you watching? Bring it here, let me see. And we'll sit down and we'll watch it. We're like, no, you're not watching that. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you think. That's not
I
right.
already know.
It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like, no, that's not okay. We don't act like that. And so
I agree.
we've at least taken the time, not saying that nobody else has, but just encouraging that it's tiring, it's frustrating, it's exhausting, it's mentally, it's all of those things. But to be that present in your children's lives, like, it's totally 100% worth it, especially when they're able to think for themselves the older that they get and understand what's right, what's wrong, what should they be
I agree.
watching and letting themselves learn. You know what I mean?
I agree, my sister.
Hey, I want to point
I'm gonna
something
move
out real
over.
Like
quick,
my
Cash.
time was getting shut. Sorry.
Yeah, no,
Hey, just real quick.
I got you. Go ahead.
2 seconds. Look, check this out. This is what you do. You got to have conversations. That's my little sister and my daughter. I don't really want to put them on there, but my point to this is these type of conversations that we're having here. These are the type of conversations that our kids need to hear us have.
Yes.
And these are the type of conversations we need to have with our kids. And our kids have been in the room. They've been around when we've jumped on these type of little events that you put on or other people put on. They need to hear that. And I just want to point that out. I think that's a key in us making that change in these kids' life.
I agree, brother. I'm with you 100%. I'm gonna bring you all back up here shortly. I want to let first Ashley and then Russo weigh in, okay? All right, Ashley, you go right ahead. You got to unmute your mic first.
Can't hear you.
So how did you
Can you hear me?
feel? How did you feel? Yeah.
Okay,
How did
so
you
Anthony,
feel
I
about
can
that
hear you.
clip?
I'm in the country, guys. You'll have to give me a break. Okay, I don't know
I hear
what's
you.
going on, but I can hear you, but I can't hear him, Cash. So whenever he's talking, but yeah, to answer the question, I think with the whole reparations, what we're seeing, I feel like is just an outcry, hurting. Like, people are hurting, and I'm a diehard Trump supporter, by the way. But God put me flat on my butt the other day when I was praying and said, you know, sometimes even though you didn't go through certain situations, Ashley, you got to look at it from, look at it from their perspective. I think that I was sometimes I could be a little hardcore, and to be able to, change people's lives and to unite. I think we just have to understand or try to understand someone's story or where they're coming from or why they're acting the way they're acting. And then just have a simple conversation with them and maybe educate them on, or try to educate them. Some people just don't want to listen. Right.
I hear you.
But at the end of the day, speaking on what John Tisha said with children, it is about children. It's about watching literally every second of their life because they're on YouTube, they're on the iPad, they're on the gaming system. And you literally, some of these shows are meant for kids, right? They're meant for kids. But when you go watch it, it has nothing to do with children. It's actually perverted and the total opposite, right, of what you thought it was. So I think that being stuck in the house, God has shown a lot of people a lot. And for me, I only speak on what I go through. So for me, it's been turned back to me, God says. The world's been so chaotic, and there's no peace. Nobody can find peace. But I think, it starts within ourselves. But being stuck in the home, people don't know me, so they don't know. I talk to you all, but being stuck in the home and being a parent and being a cook and being the teacher and being all of these things that you normally aren't, all combined is hard, whether you're a single mom or you're married. It's hard.
I hear you.
So I think pat yourselves on the back for the small things, right? And just smile and let go of everything in the past. Because if we continue to live in the past, we can't go and move in the to the future. You just can't. You're just constantly looking back, right?
I hear you.
So that's what I say, one step at a time, one foot ahead of the other, and grab somebody else's hand, ask them their story, and that's how you unite. For me,
I heard that. I hear you, girl.
I've been through a lot of what people have been through. I have a completely different story than a lot of people. But the way I know is I go out and talk to people. I don't care your background, right?
Got you.
So that's
got you, Ashley. Go. I got you. Russo, weigh in. Matter of fact, I'm gonna bring Dallas in with you.
And I'm in the
Hold on.
country, so I go in and out.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Got you.
Are you bringing Dallas up?
I'm bringing Dallas in with you. You go first, Russo.
All right. So, dissenting opinion. I mean, Gucci's, they buy a lot of groceries, and if you need to get bread, you sell, a few Gucci's. You can totally. It sounds ridiculous coming out of anybody's mouth. Ultimately, I think Isaiah and Gabby are they actually played well with each other, because based on the video, I think here's what we got to start doing and stop doing with Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. We continue to bring up the George Soros stuff. We bring up all the what we feel is criminality. Really, we could flip the script and say, what are they doing? Which is nothing. As an organization, they're galvanizing people, but as an action and what they're doing, they're not taking care of these communities. They're not going in there, and they're ruining a larger movement. Like you talked one time about Bank of America. We're like, oh my God, they gave like 10 million or some insane amount of money to Black Lives Matter. They actually didn't. Black Lives Matter as an organization has butchered the phrase Black Lives Matter so much that we have to completely move on from it. So ignore the George Soros stuff, ignore all that. And Isaiah said it perfect. They're doing enough that's better than any speech well, maybe not cash, but any speech I can give that can galvanize people behind a movement. And ultimately that's it. And when I voted for Trump the first time, I was tentative, but my reasons were this. Either he was going to destroy the current system that we would have to rebuild, because sometimes that is healthy, or he would make our economy incredibly strong and it would be a great presidency. And somehow he's done both. He's destroyed everything and he's built us up. He's set us up for success. So ultimately what that woman said is exactly what's going to turn people like Gabby into moderates. And I think she's already getting there. It's going to turn sensible Americans into more just educated people on what really matters. And
I agree. 100% agree. My brother Dallas, I've been waiting to hear from you, man. I saved you last for a specific reason, because you have a different perspective about reparations. But I know that you don't agree in the context of how she portrayed it, of saying, well, because of this, it's okay to loot. You have a specific game plan as to what you would portray out there. So I'm interested first to hear how you feel about what she said compared to how you feel about what you already believe personally. Go for it.
First, I want to say something I just noticed that was pretty cool. Russo, first I want to say, man, it's good to see you again. I really enjoy you, man. I do. I watch your shows.
Thanks, Alex.
This is what's dope. Cash, me and you are mixed with black and white, right? With 50-50. So we're actually the minority in this whole thing right here with me and Russo. So anyway, look. So, but Russo, I wanted to tell you that, man. I really do respect you.
Appreciate
you allowing me to express my viewpoints last show. No, I don't agree with what she's saying about looting. You know, it disturbs me that we have to that, you know, we're here in 2020 and we still feel like we have to burn businesses down. First of all, that's not yours. Okay, whether they have insurance or not, it's, you know, we're at a point where we can communicate. We have shows like this. We have other platforms to communicate our pain and our trauma. I would ask the question, why would, you know, my question would be to the media, why would you even put her out front to even say some shit like that? Right.
That was another point that I was going to hit on. Dallas, I love you. You know that, right? Thank you for saying that. Go for it. Keep going, because you just touched something that I was going to hit next, but go for it.
You're right. So that's the question. So we know there's an agenda behind that. But I will say this. I want to ask the question. It's so funny you brought us three on this, because I wanted to ask, especially Russo, I wanted to ask you this. I hear a lot of the common theme. Okay, no one owes anyone anything, and I agree. I'm a guy that's not going to sit around and ask anybody for a hand. I just don't believe in it, right? But I would ask, is it a double standard for us as a country to say, okay, well, pick yourself up by your bootstrap, no matter what anybody did to you, no matter the trauma you're facing. Okay, and we're talking about these young people out here, you know, doing what they're doing. And again, I go back and forth. Trust me, I'm very bipolar when I see my own people out there acting foolish and breaking into ATMs and then going live with it like a dumbass, then getting caught. I have to ask myself the question, that can't be a healthy mind that would actually go live and then actually do a robbery on live. So I think what I'm looking at is trauma. Okay. And when I say, is it fair to say that society does not owe anyone anything when we have a prison system that actually makes us pay a debt to society when we cause a crime? Does that make any sense?
You're asking Russo, right?
Well, either one of you.
It makes some sense a little bit. I'm following. I don't know if I'm following. I need more.
Okay. So give an example. Okay, let's talk to the raw. All right, black folks coming up in America right now. We have every chance that everybody
Dallas
else has to do for ourselves.
Hey,
right?
Dallas, 1 second before we keep going, because this conversation is one that I was excited about having, especially with you two. So, hey, everybody, if you could tag somebody in this, because this discussion about reparations and all this stuff needs to be heard. This needs to be heard. And this is the purpose of this show, is to bring awareness to issues, healthy dialogue to show that we can talk about these things and still love each other afterwards.
Yes.
And a lot of people are not going to agree. A lot of people will agree, but it's the whole American vibe of it that we can at least talk about it. All right.
Yes.
So if you could share this video real quick or tag someone in the comments. Dallas, continue.
Notes this time.
And Dallas kind of, so I felt like I was an idiot because I don't know.
Me.
I don't know if
how
I
to
was
set up my premise.
No, you're good. I don't know if I was following. And then I saw some other comments that were like, huh? So can you kind of start that part, kind of go for it one more time?
Okay. Okay. So if we have the idea that, okay, we're talking about looting. I get it. But we say, well, no one owes you anything. No one owes anybody anything. Forget slavery, forget whatever. Listen, we all have an opportunity to be equal in this world, right? We all have an equal opportunity to do what we want to do. Is it a double standard to say that to a people who may have been dealing with trauma, as Ashley was saying? She's trying to put herself into a mindset of saying, instead of calling people thugs, they're out there looting, they're out there rioting, they're out there doing anything. What is it that's causing them to do that? Was there a trauma that was done to us as a people? Not just us, I get it, but just dealing with the Black Lives Matter movement. Is it fair to say you guys should not be acting like that because we don't owe you anything if we have a prison system that makes us pay a debt to society for the causing of trauma to someone else? So if I murder someone, then I have to do a debt to society. Mm-hmm. Is it wrong for a group of people to call on another group of people to say, hey, listen, make this right? Maybe these young people are acting out because
absolutely.
Okay.
I get 100% what you're saying.
Okay.
And to answer your question, it's no. It's yes and no. So there's, because you added to it. If you were to just say the first part of your statement where you said, is it fair to say that? It's not fair, because essentially it discredits everything that's happened to these people. At the same time, it takes self-responsibility away from them for their actions. So it essentially is, like, you added to it. You said, and then I can't remember how you said it, but you said multiple things added. Once you start adding the multiple things, it's like, all right, you're stretching the issues a little too far at this point. Whereas we don't owe anybody anything. Essentially, the people that make us feel like we're owed something, and I think Mr. Real is going to say something similar. It's they've had a bad education, they've had been forced into bad communities because of decades of issues with systematic racism. But today, this day and age, 100%. It's their responsibility, and it's the media that has made it incredibly difficult to get out of that mindset.
Okay.
So no, you don't owe anybody anything except kindness. I mean, in all reality, you have to just a little bit of understanding, but no, it's to throw in all these other things doesn't make sense.
Okay, fair enough.
Not just the media though. I mean, now look, you guys know how I feel about things. Yes. All right. Now, I don't believe that it's just the media that's making people feel the way that they feel, to the point where they have to go and rob an ATM,
right,
or they have to go and loot. See, it's deeper than that, because when you look at, let's just use Chicago, okay? You use Chicago and see how the people in the hood and in the low-income communities are treated compared to
Absolutely.
the people in the suburbs. And then you back in time a little bit. All the, put it like this, Inglewood, or not even Inglewood. We use another area. Yeah, we use Inglewood. Inglewood was at one time all a lot of ground. Use the old people, a lot of the property back then, right? And then the government came in, I think in Bill Clinton's time, you know, like moving them to buy land and moving to projects. Told them they were going to get better, that they were going to get richer, and then gave them something less, kind of bamboozled them, tricked them into buying their property. All right. And then in turn, that property became businesses.
Absolutely.
And all these things that shouldn't have been for the wealthy white people, or whatever you want to call it, that had an agenda at that time to move black people out of their homes and force them out of their homes with the promise of something better, but gave them service. So helped to add to the condition that some of the people in Chicago, I'm just using Chicago right now, are in. You know what I'm saying? And like anybody that had anything at that time, they were forced to sell. When you owned your home, you were forced to sell. Owned your business, you were forced to sell. Same thing if we want to go back even further, a little bit further than that, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street was destroyed when they were building, you know, at that time, black people were building up independence, if you will, to where they didn't really, you know, you wouldn't have needed a welfare. You wouldn't have needed a job because you owned a business. You wouldn't have needed all these things. So it is more than just the media.
Okay.
It goes back into, you know, things that were done before that have an effect on today.
Okay. So now
you get what I'm saying?
Now you help me out. And that's all I'm saying, Russo. I believe, in my personal belief, that there was a crime done, a humanity crime.
Yeah.
Right? And this has been, again, I'm not crying, okay, racism. I'm saying in this particular instance, since we're talking about Black Lives Matter, we're looking at 50 million people wandering around, begging the elitist or the wealthy, which are mostly white, for a handout, saying, listen, please. Now we're 80 years up from slavery, whatever the case may be. Now, I don't believe in doing this. I believe in doing for self. But I believe what we're looking at is a trauma that just hasn't been answered yet. And I believe it's a crime. So when I say this, what he went back to, we can go back further when the 40 acres and a mule was given. The 384 million acres that was given to black people were actually given, and the mule. And then laws were passed in Congress to take it away.
Got it.
Okay, so now I truly believe that trauma can be passed down through DNA. I have alcoholism all through my family, a lot. Okay, I truly believe once it becomes something systematic, then it is truly embedded into your mind, into your thinking, into your way of life. So we're looking at a people, in my opinion, that are traumatized to the point where they do feel that looting is justice. Looting is a part of reparations, as silly as it may seem. To me, it's silly. Of course it is.
It's not silly. It's not silly. It's incredibly dangerous.
Okay.
Give me 20 seconds, guys. Sorry.
Go for it.
20 seconds. So when you look at what you're saying in terms of slavery in the past, I'm actually not opposed to reparations in different ways, looking at the issues like education and all these different problems in our government and the way that the inner city communities are treat it directly like that. But if you're looking at trying to fix things of the past, it's completely impossible. By looting, you're literally taking the people that want to support you and going, see, this is why they can't have nice things.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Can I say something?
I also want to go ahead, Mr. Real.
So to what Dallas was saying about generational curses is what we call it. And just seeing a lot of responses and a lot of stuff people say since all of this stuff jumped off, you can tell that there's a lot of people that have carried this thing down from generation to generation. One of the biggest problems with that is we have to start making declarations over our life and declaring that, hey, you don't have to deal with or put up with what your ancestors and what your grandparents and them put up with. It's all about speaking life into a situation. Now, yeah, the media play a big role. Also, another problem we have is, unfortunately, people become a product of their environment. So when you're around despair, you're gonna deal with despair. When you're around poverty, you're gonna deal with poverty. And so when you're dealing with a generation that's more influenced by Hollywood, they're influenced by video games, they're influenced mainly by music. And when you got people coming up and they think, Dallas, me and you did music and so did Cash. So when you got people telling you it's all right to ante up, you know, and they're telling you if you can't get it, go take it, knock somebody upside the head. So now you're constantly pumping this into this generation. Now guess what they're gonna think? And so now real quick, a scripture, y'all know I got to give a scripture, say, where in time past he walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. So when you're dealing with a generation that feel entitled, they're disobedient, they're being pumped constantly with rebellion in them, you know, and they think that they're entitled to something. I watched a video the other day and the kids were screaming and yelling at some people in their complex telling them, give us your house. You owe us your house or we're going to burn your house.
Right.
You know, and I'm like, well, what kind of nonsense is that?
That's
you
ridiculous.
Just go up on somebody and tell them to give you, you know, give them the house up, give it up or else. And so that's the attitude that's being pumped into this generation, that if they don't get their way, they're going to scream, scratch, kick, and yell until they get it. And to piggyback on that, I saw another young lady in an interview today say that she was talking at the same thing. She said, give them what they want is what they're saying. And she said that if we yell loud enough, if we scream and tell and be violent loud enough, then the government or the people will respond and they'll give us what they want. And so now this is the attitude that they're taking on, that if we raise enough hell, you're going to give us what we want. And the problem is people bow down to it and they start giving into it, and it just creates more chaos. And it's just going to keep going and going and going, because if you start practicing, let me give them their way when they raise hell, guess what they're going to do? It's like a baby throwing a tantrum. They're going to keep raising hell until you give them what they want. And that's not doing anybody any good.
Absolutely. And all I'm saying is I don't think it's helping at all to dismiss, especially what Ashley was saying. And I'm open. I want everybody's listen. It was the first time I was ever on a live, and when I had to read through the messages, listen. When you put yourself out here to be vulnerable, I respect every one of us that's on this panel, because it takes a lot of courage to get out and speak your truth. And I got my ass whooped in the comments a little bit, but I also saw people kind of, you know, really wanting me to open my mind up to different things, and I opened and I listened. And that's all I'm saying. I think is what we're watching in America right now is a lack of love, a lack of humanity, a lack of, you know, understanding what trauma is. And I'm going to tell you something on a personal level. And go ahead, Cash, take it.
Real quick, and you can have it right back after this. I'm going to open it up for everybody to talk about this issue, because I didn't think we were going to end up getting this deep into this, but I'm glad we are. And I really do feel like it is an important topic. But one thing that I wanted to touch on as well is when we talk about, you know, reparations, and then some of the arguments will be where people will be like, well, they gave you welfare and they gave you government assisted housing and all this. Yes, but no, because that ended up being a crippling effect. That is not right. That when you think about reparations, when I think about reparations, if reparations was going to be a thing, I do not want it to be in the form of money. If there was ever going to be a reparations that was given out, it needs to be in the form of an education. Knowledge. It needs to be in the form of, you know, here, you could get this trade for free. I'm going to teach you how to do this. I'm going to teach you how to do that. I want to teach you how to become successful, and not have a massive debt right at the end of it. You know what I'm saying? It needs to be in the form, because I'm going to tell you right now, say they decided to give reparations to people tomorrow. You know what's going to happen? People that's not as well versed in their mind as, say, Dallas or Mr. Real or Isaiah or Gabby or Ashley or Chris or John Tisha or Russo, what'll end up happening is they're going to take that money, and then some of the people that got their hood mentality, they're going to try to flip that money. So there's going to be an influx of drugs. There's going to be an influx of guns. There's going to be an influx of violence.
I'd have lost Cash.
You know,
at least he's frozen in a good spot.
You guys hear me?
Go ahead.
You're back good? Now.
Yeah, you're breaking up, Cash.
Okay. Well, I'm going to hand this over, but what I'm trying to say is reparations should not come in the form of money. It needs to come in the form of knowledge. Okay? That's all I'm trying to say. So, you guys go ahead and have the discussion.
Did I say it wrong, guys? Did I come off wrong earlier?
No.
I don't know if I said it correct. Okay. All right. So because I'm against reparations, only because I don't think it's like you said earlier, you're handing somebody something and for something that happened in the past, and after that happens, then what? What does that fix? So that's my issue, and I don't know. I don't know if I came off wrong earlier, so I was trying to better express that in a way that everybody could understand. But ultimately, I truly believe that this nation is hurting so bad. That's the end of discussion. The nation's hurting so bad, and we have to turn back to God, and we have to find love, and how to love one another, and how to. I don't have to agree with Dallas. I don't have to agree with Mr. Russo, Anthony, anything you say. I don't have to agree with the next person beside me, but guess what? I have ears to listen, right? And sometimes that's all it takes, is all I'm saying. Like, that's all it takes is to listen and to hold one another's hand. I know it sounds crazy and corny, but look, I'm biracial. And if you all want to get real technical, you know, I come from a crazy background where I feel like I've been, you know.
Hold on now, Miss Ashley. We're going off topic now, Mama. We're going off topic.
Okay, let's stay. Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Gabby, weigh in on this. How do you feel about the discussion of reparations? And then I want to hear from you, John Tisha. Then I want to hear from you, Isaiah. Then I want to hear from you, Chris. Then you, Mr. Real. No, let's just do this. Come on. Gabby, what do you feel?
Hey, Cash, you might want to go to John Tisha and Chris real quick because they're about to
they got to cut out? Okay, well, fine. We'll go to John Tisha and Chris first.
He said, well, fine. Just something that when Real was talking or whatnot, some things that I wrote down were that that it's like tantrums that get a free pass with everything that's going on right now, and generational curses can be broken, and it's not something that has to continue on and on and on and on. And the only way you can change that is if you get right within yourself. Yes, with God, and yes, have that so that there's a change in the mind and a change in the spirit and a change in the heart. But you have to realize it first. And the only way to realize it first is to hear from somebody else. You have to be willing to do that. But people have to also be willing to teach other people, to take the time, to have the patience to explain it over and over in many different ways, so that those people who can hear it in that specific way, all those different ways, can understand it and receive it. Because it really is something in the mind and in the heart that has to change. And that's where you attack it. You attack it with love, you attack it with understanding, you attack it with patience, right? All the fruit, all of those good characteristics, all of those virtues, you use those to connect with other people in order to seed in them, to plant in them seeds of these things so that it could eventually water and grow as they move forward in life or whatnot. And hopefully that happens, and I pray that it does. But we have to start teaching our children. We have to start teaching them that it's possible, that change is possible, that they are strong enough to do these things. Of course, with God on their side, some people don't learn who God is until later on in life. But if we can get to that place to teach them when they're young and to reinforce it over and over and over and over, hopefully when they get older, they can call upon that on their own. So I know it's difficult, but it's possible. It's possible.
Very good points. Go ahead, Chris. Weigh in, brother.
All right. So try to keep it short, but let me give you just a little example of something that happened the other day. I was at work and there was two gentlemen and we were talking about reparations and more so them. I was really just listening because I found it interesting. But they were and both of them are one's black and Hispanic, and they're debating on whether they should get it or not. And I found one of the comments interesting. One of the guys said, you know, some people never had anything, so they don't know how to take care of it. So it would give us something, and then we can learn how to take care of it. And I think this kind of goes back to what was stated previously is I think you could toss all the money in the world at it, but if you're a wasteful spender now and you can't budget the money you have now, then it's not going to matter if we give you $100,000, $20,000, or $5,
You're right.
you're going to go spend it, and you're not going to spend it in the right places. I'm big on the education thing. You know, I'm self-taught in a lot of what I do. Tisha, she's self-taught. John Tisha's self-taught in a lot of the stuff that she does. And what we don't teach ourselves, we'll go seek out a class. I mean, maybe take a college course. So, you know, we got a little something in our background, but you know, I didn't grow up with money, but I know how to manage my money now. So that's kind of my
Right.
thing with reparations. I agree with. I think it should be the education. It should be teaching them a trade, teaching something that's going to, but more specifically, a financial class. That is, you got to teach them a financial class with whatever else you give them, because if you don't, they're never going to manage their money, or whoever gets money. But in this instance, we're talking about the reparations. You're just not going to know how to manage it. So that's kind of where I'm at. You gotta have an education.
Well, check this out. I know you guys got to go, but just to throw in there, you see how when Chris was explaining it, to say how would we do it, or you know, things like that. See, and that's where I come in and say that this is the reason why I don't agree with reparations in the first place. But if reparations were going to be a thing, it should be in that kind of form of education. But the reason why I personally don't agree with reparations is because there is no way that you can go back to see if, first off, you come from a slave or a slave owner, because both at the time, black and white, were both slave owners and both were slaves. So how do you differentiate between who is who? And then what percentage of that do you have to be before you can say, okay, you get reparations, but you don't because you come from this and you're that. You get what I'm saying? So it's to me, reparations, it shouldn't be a thing, because now we've reached a place in this country, in America, where, especially with coronavirus, you see how coronavirus hit, right? And they were able to do everything for everybody. They were able to give everybody all kinds of stuff, being able to give people money. They were able to give people free lunch and free food. And they were able to give people rent vouchers and all these things. So why not we just break it down in some type of way to where every American who isn't, you know, super high up there on the financial ring gets some type of help and make things a little more even. You know what I'm saying? For all Americans, and like take the race out of it, because at this point, there's no way. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm mixed. I'm Native. Who is that is clicking? It is driving me insane. Don't know. Okay, but there's no way for us to be able to say who is who, because I'm mixed up. I'm very mixed. And if you look at my kids, what about the Americans that are like my children? They're already grown. So my daughters, they look white. My daughters don't look black. So would they even qualify for reparations, even though their father is black? And then what about the people that are older and, you know, they look like my daughter? They are like 25% black. Or what about, you know, the mixed kids that's Hispanic? And, you know, it's too much to even think about, man, of how you could do that. So what I would say to do is help out all Americans. If we're able to do all the things that we're able to do right now in this country with coronavirus, we were able to give out this much money for stimulus check. We're able to do this much for welfare, this much for free health care, because that's really what's happening. So why not say, you know what? Forget that. This chick ain't finna get the welfare no more at this amount of money, because she's taking all this money and she's selling it over here and she's not feeding the kids. And then this person ain't about to live free in this housing because all she's doing is living off the system and taking all this money that we giving her and she's getting a free ride. Or this person went and got a college degree, but now he's in so much debt he can't, you know, even though we gave him grants. It's just, there's so much more that can be done as for all Americans, because at this point there's no way to tell who's who. Dallas, I see you itching to jump in there. Go right ahead.
Yeah, no,
All right,
no,
real quick.
Yes, sir.
I want to sign off real
quick. Go ahead,
Chris.
Chris.
I gotta head out. Hey, Cash, I appreciate it. I love all you guys.
Love you
everybody
too.
That was new on the show. Hey, I enjoyed the conversation, but I got my niece's birthday to get to.
Do your thing,
so,
brother. I appreciate
thank you. Hey, I'll see you next Sunday, and then yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Got you, my brother. Peace.
Peace.
That I'm gonna follow his suit because
gotcha. You go right ahead.
We're in the same place. Thank you guys. Yes, I love you guys. Good conversation.
I'll
see you, and thanks for having me as always.
Bye-bye. All right. All right, I'm gonna unmute Gabby because Dallas, you go right ahead, and then I want to hear Gabby, and then I want to hear
Well, you know what? Go
Isaiah
ahead,
because
Gabby,
he's
because
been
I've been
quiet.
talking. I've been talking already. Go ahead.
Go
I
ahead,
love
Gabby. How
Gabby
you
being
feel about
quiet.
all this?
Oh, oh, okay. Okay. Well, so many different feelings that I have going on. I'm totally agreeing with a lot of things everybody really have to say about reparations. No, I think that's a little over and done with. At this point,
Exactly.
it's too late in the game for that. You understand what I'm saying? Think about it. Is that going to help reduce the crime rate in Chicago? Is it going to help anybody get a better life? No. You see what I'm saying? What's gonna happen? What will happen if we just sit here and say, well, hey, sorry, because your great grandma was a slave, so here you go this money, here go that money, here go this money. I don't agree with it. Yeah, it's sad what happened. Everybody have their mixed opinions and feelings about it, but it's 2020, and at this point, nah, it's too late in the game for that. It is. It's not gonna make the world a better place. I don't believe it will. It might help some people. You see what I'm saying? But
Hold
when
on.
all that should have
Hold
happened
on,
and
Miss
taken
Miss
place,
Gabby. Hey, Gabby, I love you and I love to hear your opinion, but I need to say something about this real quick. I'm gonna throw
mm-hmm.
this up here. Let me read this. Why is anyone getting reparations for something that no one here alive today have experienced? Look at the atrocious crimes against humanity against the Jews. They did not receive reparations or even look for them. Now, hold on, real quick. Sister, you know I love you to death. I'm gonna bring you in, Dallas, because I know you got something to say about this, and I'm gonna bring you in, but I need to touch it real quick and let you know. They didn't, you're right. The Jews did not get my ancestors, because my ancestors are Jewish, did not get reparations. You know what they got? A whole nation. They got a whole nation. So please don't use that as an example when you talk about crimes against humanity, with what happened with the Holocaust, which was horrible as hell, and I don't wish that on anybody in any race. But you cannot compare that, because um, today the Jewish people are some of the most wealthy people in the world. They went from being somebody that was kept down and persecuted and killed to being some of the wealthiest people in the world that own a lot of things in the world, and they also have been given their own nation. So we cannot even compare the two, and that will cause a big argument against black people, and that's where you get into that whole Nick Cannon where he talked that crazy shit. Go ahead, let me get Dallas in here. Dallas, touch on that.
Yeah, I want to say this. No, I'm one that, and this is why you brought me on the show. I'm not mad at her. I'm not mad at, this is what this is about. This is about all of us, becoming educated and really listening. If this is what we really plan to do, this is just about opening our minds and really trying to come to a common ground. This is a grassroots movement here. So it's something that she said that, because that lets me know that there's a lack of education on really what happened. And that also shows me that there's a disparity between people suffering. And again, I say reparations. Okay, I'm agreeing with you guys. At this point, 450 years later, no, it's impossible for you to show who can get this amount. It's not about that. But you know what? Every free people has land. And all I'm saying is this. I'm trying to find my place on this show, right? And I'm good on this show. I love it here. And I just have to speak for the people, because I feel like, just put yourself in our shoes. Most people are saying, you know what, guys, it's just too old, man. Forget about it. Just give up on it. You guys just got to get yourself up out your shit and just go ahead and get on with life. And it's hard to hear people say that. And I'll say you why. I'm gonna take it real personal.
Wait, Dallas. Before you get too deep,
okay.
Hold on. Hold your thought. Gabby, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, and everybody's over here ripping me for it, saying, let Gabby finish. So, Gabby, go ahead and finish your thought.
Russo laughing at me.
Dude, Dallas was hidden. Like, I'm sitting here listening to Dallas, because I know exactly where he about to go, and he about to take it to a whole nother level. And so I'm feeling him on that. Now, remember, back to what I was saying, I don't agree with it. But you have to remember, it's some people, their state of mind is not letting that go. You got to understand, even though slavery was over with, hundred years ago, or however long you want to put it. Remember, racism wasn't, so it was still a lot of people had to deal with it, where they had to listen to the stories from their great grandmother, that some of them still alive, 103 years old. They got stories to tell. And so when you tell these stories, now you got the families and they sit here, really, great grandma, this is what happened to you. Oh man, and now they feeling bad. So everybody, their feelings get involved. And now it's hard for this whole thing to just go away. So I do understand. I understand the outcry. I understand the outrage. But again, everybody didn't have it as easy. You see what I'm saying? To where, okay, but my family didn't go through this. But guess what? Mine did. Crack came into my community. My daddy got locked up. My mama was on dope. And so guess what? I was in the street. You know, I hear stories where I didn't finish school because my parents couldn't find clothes for me. I didn't have no shoes to wear, so I dropped out. My mama didn't have a job because my daddy was locked up, and I had to do what I had to do to put food on the table. So now I got 3 strikes against me. The system don't want me. So now it's like you're back against the wall. So yeah, everybody's situation is different. Everybody do have a story to tell. You understand? So no, it's not the same. No, everybody can't get over it. Some people can. Some people, they was brought up in a different environment. They was raised in a different system. They was just things were different. I could tell you about kids that didn't have no food. They didn't have nothing. And not saying it was just black people. I'm not just saying that, but just understand it was just harder for some. Yeah, it might have been years ago and hundreds of years ago, but it trickled down. It's an effect. It's like dominoes. You know, when you pull one, they all fall. Just depend on how it lands. Everybody just, it don't land different. Everybody don't
That's
just
right.
get right back up.
You know,
And
you finished right now, Dallas, but think about this, you guys. In this country, look, it's been some messed up stuff, and we can't, and I know it gets frustrating, you know, when I read a comment like that people throw in other races. Well, this happened to these people, this happened to these people. But if you study history and you go and you look at everything as a whole, right? And you know, I'm not one to complain about anything. I love my country. I love being an American. I love the way that things are progressing, and I love where we are right now as a nation. But when you look at, when somebody says, you know, they use the Jewish pain, you know, that they went through, and they say, well, they didn't get nothing. And then in opposition, you can say, well, no, they got a whole nation. They got a whole nation to themselves. And then you say about the Native American Indians, and you say, well, what did they get? They also had gotten given reservations, which, by the way, might be shitty, but they were giving reservations, and they were given, you know, land, like Dallas was saying, land. So then you come over to talking about the Irish. What were the Irish given? Irish were given a lot of opportunity. At the same time, we're in an era where, you know, you had racism going on and slavery going on. They were actually allowed to be freed and become indentured servants. So after 7 years of being an indentured servant, they were able to go out and become and have part in the American dream. Given they had to work their asses off because they got treated like black people. They got treated dirty as hell, just like black people at that time did. And then you go into the Black American, okay? And you talk about the Black American. What happens with the Black American? They've been told, like Dallas says so many times, pick yourself up by your bootstraps. And then we use the thing to say, well, no, we have a lot of successful black people. That's true. But how did they become successful? Now, this is another topic that I wanted to touch on, and you got to think about it. How when you talk about Oprah, how did she become successful? Well, Oprah got into what? Movies, the entertainment industry. What's her background? Like, what she got into, like, what? Movies or something? What made her rich? Anthony, do you know?
Yeah. She was originally a newscaster. Okay. She went from
That's right.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah. She went from being a newscaster to then just growing a platform and then having a daytime show, and went from there. And then she built her empire.
And then you look at Oprah today and all the things that are being said about her and the things that she had to take part in, and anybody else in the world that look at all the entertainment in the entertainment industry, all the rappers, female and male. What do they have to do to become famous? They have to give a message that tears down their own type of people. The music in the hood that you listen to, every chick that you listen to on the radio talks about how she wants to, basically she's a hoe and to love money more than you love anything else, and doesn't value family, and tearing down other women and tearing down other men, and the men in the same respect. The men only talk about sleeping with other women, getting money, killing people that look just like them, selling drugs, teaching the kids all the things that they end up doing. You know what I'm saying? So you want to talk about that? You're like, well, they're successful. You look at Pete, look at all the stuff he had to do, though. And look at what it took. He had to sell out, basically, to become successful and give a message that is destructive to the children. And then you go into the NBA. You say, well, look at Michael Jordan. Look at Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is rich because of what? He could play ball. Kind of like a nigga that tap dance. Should I call it that? You know what I'm saying? Entertain me. Entertain me and I will give you money. And that's what it turns into. So when do you hear about somebody that is let's say a black person that comes up and not just like use basketball. You got a lot of black people that play basketball that are rich, right? Okay. So how come we don't have a lot more black people that are Fortune 500 business runners that did not start off in the entertainment industry? You get what I'm saying? Anybody that does that, like you see Jay-Z. Jay-Z is huge right now, right? But Jay-Z had to start off where? In the music industry, putting out a message that what? Tore down his own people. You get what I'm trying to say?
You've got Robert Johnson. Robert Johnson, the owner of BET, had very humble upbringings, and he actually did it that way. But it is, again, few and far between. Oprah as well as him.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying, though? Mr. Real, and then Dallas, and then Isaiah. We're going to keep it going. Go ahead. No, you know what?
So what?
Hold on, Mr. Real. Let Dallas go.
Go. Everybody wants Dallas to go. Dallas has got to finish this. I'm literally waiting. Dallas, finish. I got to hear about about the land.
About the land. So truthfully, guys. Okay, I wrote notes, guys. I want to say, what makes a human being? Okay, what makes an American American? What makes a human being? What is the question we left off last time, Russo? What is love? When I went through the comments, I knew I was going to be the problem child the first show, because I know that it takes time to. It's hard to hear someone's pain, right? But I have to speak for the people, and I want to say something very, very personal here, very, very personal. Now, when you're dealing with trauma, guys, trauma. I don't know how many of us are really understanding that trauma. Most of us are in PTSD syndrome. We don't have to go to the army to really deal with that, right? You could go through something in your life that triggers you so bad and hurts you so bad that 20 years later, you could be a 60-year-old man and hear somebody say something and it triggers you to act other than what you should act, because pain is that powerful, okay? So I say that to say this. I always bring up the woman because I think women are going through such a big, as we can see in the song WAP, they're going through such a big power in a movement because they have been the footstool for a long time, right? And I saw a lot of even my own community, in the Muslim community, which are supposed to be righteous people that are supposed to be patient, loving with people, tearing them down and condemning them. I said, listen, that power movement sometimes can look really ugly when it's beginning to grow into itself, right? We look at them and say, well, that's whorish behavior, or that's this, but that's really them just expressing themselves sexually in a way that we've always kept them from being, right? I'm not a woman, but can I get an amen from some of this? Yeah, okay. So I say this. My thing with the land, okay, and I didn't even talk about reparations. My thing is just I'm talking to the audience here. We truly have to be understanding. Okay, listen, I promise you guys, when I go up the street, and this is not for kudos, I don't give a fuck. When I see a homeless person, it breaks my heart. I never look at color. I don't give a fuck about the color. I remember the other day, God was, I was going through my own little depression, and God said, when was the last time you just stopped and talked to somebody that was just sitting on the corner? I don't give a fuck how awkward it is. Just go sit with them and have a meal. Maybe they're hungry. And sometimes I drive past this group of homeless people and they always wave at me. I've never stopped to just talk to them. And it's a group of white people. It doesn't bother me that they're white. I always give to people that are struggling, because I understand that a brother shared with me one time. He said, Dallas, God is a God of pathology, meaning he doesn't look at your current situation on the surface. because we all are acting out in some kind of way. Brother, you got me on the solo camera. Okay. We act out because of pain. Okay. And I want to share, I was married for 10 years. All right. And as a husband, I failed as a husband. I failed, not, I won't say as a father, but I could have been better. But again, my father never taught me anything about being a father. I mean, about being a husband or a father. He just wasn't present. So I had to learn through just circumstance, and I learned through experience. But I ended up, even with that, I couldn't complain about it, and I ended up losing my family because I just wasn't acting proper toward the responsibility that I had. And I believe it came from trauma. I wasn't taught right. So when I say reparations, I mean that we're gonna have to, if we're gonna live in this country, you guys, I'm telling you, and I know I'm talking to a predominantly white audience, you're gonna have to understand that we do not want to be looked at as monsters. We do not want to be looked at as animals out in these streets. I promise you we don't. We really don't. We want to be taught. We want to be educated. We want to do better. We want money. So again, I think at this point, my question would be, reparations money? No, you know, but what are we going to do as a people, just on this grassroots level? And I'm asking a question to whether it be Russo, whether it be Real, whoever wants to answer. You know, even if we love each other, do we truly see, after all this trauma, after all of these years, and all of this big melting pot that we have, what is the answer to the way out? We can say love, but again, the question we left off: what does love really look like? How do we truly fix this problem?
Well,
That's my question to
I'll
the
lead,
panel. How do we truly fix this problem?
I'm gonna lead this one first, and then I wanted to go over. So this way, actually. So I'm gonna go first and say part of fixing the problem first, for when you say you asking everybody, is being open to realize that there is a problem. That's number one. People have to understand and realize that even though you might not see a problem, when you look at some of the people and the way that they feel, the way that they are, it comes out in the way that they're acting out here in the streets.
Right.
And that goes into what Gabby was saying a little bit earlier. So first we got to recognize, yeah, there is a problem. Then we have to be willing to sit and listen to see, okay, what is the real problem? And then pinpoint it. What is the real problem? What do you feel the real problem is? And then if that problem is valid, but then we move forward in trying to fix it. How do we fix it? By coming up with a plan that is good for everybody. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't hurt anybody and doesn't take away from anybody. And that's just my input on that. Just come up with a plan that it doesn't hurt anybody, but it helps the hurt or injured party without taking away from anybody else. You know what I'm saying? That's my stance on it. Russo, how do you feel?
So it's always hard. It's hard when you look at how to do things on a grassroots level, because I look at it as a big problem. I look at it as this is where I say federal and state levels need to get involved, because it really does have to come down. The reparations to me is education, because again, you give somebody something that doesn't know what to do with it, they're not going to know what it's going to be wasted. And I think it's the terminology, and I actually have a specific grassroots concept, but I think the terminology is the biggest issue right now. Is you look at you look at a defund the police, and you look at reparations. Two have become very divisive words. First off, it shouldn't be defund the police. However, they are starting to do that, but that's a different story. Reparations really are reinvestment in the Black community. And whether that come form of land, I foresee that being something that starts on an educational level, and essentially by giving them a new level of education and the ability to go to school at that level, you're giving them the opportunity to take ownership and have equity and have those opportunities that they didn't have before. It's hard to just give away land in America. And lastly, from a grassroots level, go ahead, Cash.
Personally, by the way, I don't know. Oh my God.
Feedback.
What is that? Echo.
What's up?
What I was going to say is, I don't think that land is going to be the difference maker in this, because you look at the world right now in America, you look at where we are in America, and there's already a lot of communities that are basically just Black communities, you know what I'm saying, or
Right.
Mexican communities. and we see how they go. What I think it will be like a financial independence, meaning businesses,
opportunity,
opportunity and education. Those are the two things, not land.
Yeah,
Land would make it. I think that would add fuel to the racism, because when you give people land, it's not right. When you look at the reservations and you see how the American Indians are right now on the reservations, it's horrible.
Yeah,
it's horrible, man. And they feel like they're less. They feel like they're less than an American because of how they have to live over there on the reservations. And then the people that they entrusted the money to, that were given these reservations, don't help the people. So that can be the same exact thing that would end up happening if land was given to, say, black people.
Depending on the leadership of that particular.
Depending on the leadership, but
that's always destined to fail. We set those things up to fail. That's the way our unfortunate government works. So again, you asked the question, how to rely on a grassroots level and take away the government out of it. We can all talk about the great idea of having education, and we can fight for the next 10 years in order to have 20 years of education. But this is where I actually get to call everybody else out on this, because I can't do anything. All I can do is support your voices, be your friends, continue to educate other people, but ultimately people with your voice have the ability to mentor, talk to kids, do what Cash is doing, do what all of you guys have already started to do on your level. Because again, unfortunately, this country they see race. So I come to somebody and be like, I want to teach you how to get out of the streets.
Right.
Doesn't work. So the grassroots level is getting involved in the best way you can and finding one person, two people, three people, just like you guys already do. That's the answer. But then telling other mentors like you.
Yes. But this is not a white thing. And I want people to understand that when people talk about reparations, they're not saying white people give me your land, white people give me your money. This is not what the term. No. Our moms are white. Me and Dallas got white mothers. My mom's just as broke as you know what I'm saying, anybody else.
Mine too.
Mine too. That's not what it is. When you talk about when you have the discussion about reparations, it's about the government.
Right.
The government. It has nothing to do with the people. It's the same government that gives, Black Lives Matter, the funding that they give them. You get what I'm saying? Right. It's the rich people that decide, like Soros, that decides, you know what? I'm going to fund this right here. Here, take this and cause some shit. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. So,
but and I'll end it here. Sorry. The people that it's not white and black, but it is. Reparations do have a color because it is for a certain people. And like you said earlier, we don't know who was the slave and who was the slave trader. And a lot of people you look at Kamala Harris. She had a white slave owner, great grandfather. He wasn't a black slave trader. He was a white slave trader. So her white side was a slave owner who's guilty, and her black side was abused. So how do you directly treat the history of this country? You don't. You treat the individual today and say, we have given an unfair shake in the last near future. How do we fix it now? Street level, you guys are able to communicate, and on a federal level, we fight and we fight and we fight for a form of education that allows opportunity that will not happen overnight, but it will happen over decades as we work together.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Real, weigh in.
So I agree with what y'all saying and what you and Russo was saying, the opportunity and the education. But first, we need to educate them on what to do with an opportunity. Because if you don't educate them on how to take care of or handle an opportunity, if they don't know how to handle that and they don't have the capacity to handle that opportunity, they're going to screw it up. And we'll be back at ground zero. And so I agree with that. Reparations, as far as the demand and stuff go, I think from a federal level, the government need to come in and start just cleaning up the neighborhoods, making the neighborhoods look right, tear down some of the old buildings, employ some of the people in the neighborhoods to go in there and help them tear down the buildings, cut some of the grass and the weeds and the stuff that's so bad, pick the trash up, come in and clean up the neighborhoods. And as far as other reparations, I would love for them to come and say, hey, you own your house, no more property taxes. Give me that type of reparation. So I actually own my land. You want to give me land, then give me the land that I purchased my house on, and that's mine. I own my house, but I got to pay property taxes. So if you want to give us land, give me that land. Give me that opportunity. If I go purchase more houses, I can own that land. It's mine. I don't have to give you, like you're the gangster. I got to give you, some money to sit my property on somebody else's property. So I just think if we educate everybody on what to do with those opportunities, we won't have a generation of people thinking that, you know, they can start a t-shirt business or be rappers and ball players. And that's, you know, that's the what they think they can look forward to make some money.
Russo. Oh, there you go.
Sorry, Jelani, go ahead. We'll keep going the sweep around. I know. Sorry, Gabby. We'll get you. Jelani, what do you think? You there? Oh, I keep saying Jelani. Oh my God, Isaiah. I'm talking to Jelani on the side. Isaiah, my bad. Son of a biscuit. They were at the same time. Totally my fault. Yeah.
Oh, you wanted to hear my opinion? Oh, okay. Gosh, man, my opinion is a little bit divisive because, again, I'm more on the right-wing side. So personally, I personally don't really believe in reparations myself. Again, I do think a little bit more individualistically, and I think that it is very important that we take responsibility for our life. And I've known a lot of different people from all different walks of life, whether they be white, black, Hispanic. Again, I know people from other countries who have been through very, very hard, terrible times. A lot of, like, I've gotten messages recently with a woman who is from like the Middle East, and her family was like, everybody around her, like bombings and things of that sort. There's a lot of different people who go through a lot of different tragedies and are part of a lot of different walks of life. There are Black people from the suburbs. There's Black people from the hood. There's Black people from all different walks of life. And it's very convoluted as well in that type of situation. So it's just like, number one, how are we going to distribute these reparations? Because I think a lot of Black people are kind of mixed anyway. I'm just thinking like it's going to be very, very confusing on how we're actually going to give these reparations. And so it's going to be very, very confusing in that kind of regard. I would also have to say that I kind of disagree when it comes to generational curses. I think it might be kind of a pseudoscience type of thing, in my humble opinion. But that's just me. That's just my opinion or my walk of life. I don't necessarily believe 100% in generational curses. And I think also the looting or the outcry of looting stores and things of that sort, I don't think that's coming from a traumatic place. And I know it's going to sound like really terrible for me to say this, but I think it's coming from a place of opportunism. And I think it's coming from a place of probably kind of ignorance, no offense. I really don't think that people are going out and looting stores or because they think they've been disenfranchised. I think they're going out because they want the next Gucci bag or they want the next pair of Jordan. Now, I know that sounds terrible. But like, man, I'm Black myself. I've been around Black people. I've seen tons of different Black people on Facebook in these types of situations. Like, I know Black people. I've been around Black people. And the things that they post online, the things that they've been telling me, I've actually known a guy, his friend robbed a weed dispensary because of Black Lives Matter. And so I don't think this is coming from a place of a traumatic experience. I think this is coming from a place of opportunism. And I think it's coming from a place of just ignorance, in my humble opinion. So for me, I don't really think, I don't really agree with reparations. For me as a man, I would never want to be given something for free. I would always want to work for every single thing that I have. And that's pretty much my humble opinion. I don't really know about nationwide and things of that sort, but my family did live in the hood. My parents, you know, a lot of my family have been through very traumatic experiences, yet they continue to grow and rise above it. You know what I mean? You know, we lived in the hood, but we managed to move out of the hood. My dad managed to get his master's a little bit later in life, but I'm really an advocate for somebody, or taking responsibility for their life and not asking to be given something from somebody else. And even when it comes to natives and Jewish people and things of that sort, I don't care. I think that you should be responsible for the things that you get and the things that you earn in this life. And so that's my humble opinion. I don't really think people are looting stores because of an outcry or because of trauma, but I think they're doing it because of an opportunistic situation. So yeah.
Very, very, very dope opinion. You are outspoken, kid. Like for real, you are very wise. Very wise. Love your opinion.
Thank you.
Um,
Absolutely.
now what I want to say real quick before we move on over to Ashley. Um, reparations to me, why? Let me tell you something else, man. Why reparations doesn't make a lot of sense to do. All right. First, now you want to go back to looking at, say, you know, the Jewish people and their struggle, right? They were given a nation. But you notice something about Jewish people, man, is they know how to treat each other. You don't see Jewish people, even though they were burned and gassed and they were treated poorly wherever they went. They've been moving around the world and getting treated poorly everywhere that they went. Okay. And they still, in turn, they didn't let that make them hate each other. They became closer together. It built a bond between them. And then when you look at black people in our condition in the world today, we look at each other and we instantly like we want to outdo one another. You know what I'm saying? And become opportunistic, like just like Isaiah said. And some of the people that were out there were supposed to be out there for protesting against police brutality and standing up for a life that was taken by a corrupt cop or whatever, and then it turned into something completely different. And we can't. I mean, I'm not going to say that some of them aren't hurting for other reasons than that, or wherever it could be past trauma or whatever. True enough, but most of them people out there were only taking opportunity to take to get something that they wanted. So, what point I'm getting at is, first we need to heal the culture, because the black culture that we have, man, it is messed up because we allow it to be. The idols are the basketball players, baseball, football, the rappers, the singers, the actors, and then you wonder why our communities are the way that they are. When I used to game bang, I used to ride around the Young Jeezy, and it used to pump me up, and I was ready to go and light some up. You feel me? And that was the things that we got. You feel me? That was the things that taught us. We were taught by the music. And when you look at hip hop culture, the way that it started out as something beautiful that was educational and was uplifting. And then this is what I talk about when you say the people that the entertainment industry, they took that and said, okay, we ain't gonna have them doing this no more, because people started coming together. When hip hop came out, the culture started bringing people together. So then what they did was they hijacked hip hop, and then they started interjecting their own people into hip hop and making it to where these are the best rappers, even though people were like, "No, that's trash. We don't want to hear that." They put it in your face because they control the media. So the people that
it's the same thing that they've been doing since slavery. It's the Willie Lynch syndrome. If they can divide us and conquer us and keep us separated, who better than who, and all of that nonsense, that's what they still doing today.
I hear you, but what the point that I'm saying, the point that I'm trying to get at is with these people, man, we can't expect to have anything given to us, right? Or expect anybody to want to help us or to do anything along the lines of making life easier, or reparations, we'll call it, if we ourselves and our culture aren't speaking out. Like right now, it pains me, man, and it upsets me that Black Lives Matter had the perfect opportunity to do something special within the black community, and yet they only use their platform to come out and spread more divide with race baiting and then telling people to go and loot instead of saying, listen, we ain't going to be like this. This is not how we're going to do things. And from now on, we're going to stand together when somebody comes into the hood and they kill a kid, or somebody comes in and they kill they kill another brother, or whatever the case may be. We don't police each other. We will chastise the world. We will chastise the world for speaking out against us for instance, black on black crime or the crime in the hood in particular. And we will come against people that say, you know, black on black violence needs to stop, or crime needs to stop in the hood, or, you know, every other culture takes care of each other. Every other culture takes care of each other and looks out for each other. Every other one, except for us. We're like crabs in a barrel. We see somebody moving up, we try to take them down. Somebody becomes educated, we call them Uncle Tom. Somebody don't want to be a part of the hood no more, they're a sellout. You get what I'm saying? No one else does that. And once we start to heal the culture, once we can heal our culture as black people, you know what I'm saying? We'll call it that, black Americans. Once we can start to heal that, we won't need reparations. We won't need anybody to hand us anything, because collectively people have enough wealth between each other to come together, just like Mexican families do. When Mexicans come up from Mexico, they come up, man, and they work their ass off. They put the money together and they form a plan. They get a house. They live together. They get another house, and they do things. When like Chinese people, when Chinese people come over here, they distribute wealth. Between each other. They let their kids live at home, and that's another thing. They'll allow their kids to live at home with them until they're ready to face the world. Us, we like, as soon as you 18, you out. You ain't staying in my house no more. And we put our kids out when they're not ready to go out into the world, when they don't even know nothing about life. Just because they're 18 doesn't make them grown. So our culture has been messed up, man. We got to heal some things within our own culture before we can ever expect for anybody to do anything for us or to hand us anything. And like Isaiah said, as men, we shouldn't need nothing from nobody. Forget it. I mean, we all need help sometimes, but to ask them to give us some land, or give us a business, and give us no, forget that. Just give us a chance. Just give us a chance. Let us show you, like you said, we don't want to be viewed as monsters. We don't want to be viewed as these people that's out here doing these wrong things, man, or how they put us out in the media. And then you look at that, Dallas, it's so easy for them to throw us out there into the media, bro, and paint this picture as these people are monsters. These people, they kill each other. These people are violent. These people are gangbangers. These people don't want help. These people, that's the key thing. They don't want help. Look at how they treat each other. Look at what they do in their own communities. When we get mad, we riot and burn down our own cities. We take jobs away from our own people that work in stores that got looted. There's Walmarts and Targets that are never going to come back there again. You know what I'm saying? So that's my stance on it. I mean, yeah. Before you go, Dallas, I know you got some thoughts, brother. But let me hold on to it, Dallas. Don't let it go, bro.
No, I'm coming here.
Ashley, it's your turn.
Okay, really quickly. So I'm biracial. You all keep leaving me out of the biracial part, but I'm biracial. So my mom's white and my dad was black. So here's how from my perspective, and how I've grown up and my experiences, and I view it. It's work, 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 work. You're not handed anything at the end of the day. And that's the problem in our culture. You get my brother an attorney. Okay, my sister has a bridal boutique. Me, I'm an interpreter, right? We didn't just people aren't handed things, and so I think as if you're gonna take, look at it just like white and black, not trying to be, but right, if you're just gonna put it out there like that, it's about working, but it starts at home. And how do we change that? As black mothers, right? We start at home and we teach our children academics before anything else. That's what my parents, taught us. Academics. You don't no sports, no nothing, and unless the grades are there. And then, so it all starts at home. And so it bothers me when people talk about race, this, race, that. It really does, because I mean, it has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with that. But what you all heard me earlier saying was that I've learned in my space to be a little bit more understanding, of other people's backgrounds, or asking why they feel the way they feel, or why they went through what they went through, right? Just because it's a really hard time in general. due to the circumstances. But at the end of the day, if we just want to say what it is, call a spade a spade, you got to work your ass off. And yeah, I don't care. It may be harder. You know, I've heard some of my Black friends say they stand firm on, you know, they believe in systematic racism. Okay. And they believe that that's what they feel when they walk into a job, that they're less likely to get it. Right. But I don't necessarily believe that. I believe it's about, you know, it's just about working hard. You got to change your mentality. And so my brother being an attorney, he's looked at as black, right? Or whatever. And yes, it was difficult, more difficult for him to make it where he had to go, but he pushed through. And we don't make fun of one another. Yeah, we're called Uncle Toms. That's the problem. We're called Uncle Toms. I was made fun of more by, I feel like the opposite of the black race more than I was the white race. Why is that? That's what we have to start asking ourselves. Why is our culture that way? Why? That's all. You know, that's at the end of the day, unlearn, relearn type of thing.
I hear you. We got left. We got Gabby. Gabby, you want to weigh in, sister? I know you've been waiting.
Well, I think I pretty much said everything that I can say about the situation. I really definitely agree with pretty much everyone. I don't feel like at this point it's beneficial. At the end of the day, you know, I'm a firm believer in what I believe in, but a lot of things you were saying made a lot of sense. I was sitting here like, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. You did. But you know, it's always a but. But it's kind of like with everything that's going on, you really just, when you were talking about the rap music and stuff, I'm sitting here like, well, wait a minute, this is who I am, and you can't sit here and judge me, because I'm gonna tell you, I listen to rap music, I listen to country music, I listen to reggae music, I listen to music. I am a music fanatic, and music like really it puts just bring me at peace. And so when you were saying that, I do totally agree with that part. You know, how you was listening to Jeezy and stuff like that, and that's what you was riding out to. And like till this day, I would turn on Alexa, play such and such, or play Jay-Z or whoever. You know, that's just who I am, and I switch it up out the blue. Alexa, play Linkin Park. You know, just whatever. That's just who I am. And so that does play a big factor, because remember, they were trying to say let's ban rap music altogether. I'm sitting here like, no, don't do that. like, don't do that.
I hear you.
My kids listen to rap, but guess what? That's not all they listen to. Because see, I know how I'm raising my kids, and I know what I tell them, and I know how I preach them every day. They don't go out the street. They're 11 years old. They can't go out the house without me. They can't go ride their bike without me. Because guess what? We went riding the bikes. I had to walk the whole neighborhood while they rode their bikes. You understand? Right. And I live in a good community, like a brand new neighborhood. And so, and I still don't trust the streets. And I'm very overprotective of my children, and I'm gonna always be that way.
I hear you.
When you kick your kids out at 18, that is something that a lot of Black parents do, and it's really a bad thing. I don't know why they do, but you know, sometimes when you get that age, you say, I was that kid. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was that kid where my dad he didn't want me to go to the football games in high school all the time. I couldn't go, and I would like literally purposely try to start an argument with him just to go. You see what I'm saying? And he would not let me go. He knew why. But see, I was being rebellious. I was just that kid. They didn't kick me out. He told me, well, if you think you're too grown, get out. He never said you had to go. But those were the words I was waiting on, so I could go.
I hear you.
You see what I'm saying? So I feel what you're saying too, but I wouldn't really just blame it on rap music. You know what I'm saying? But
no, not at all.
Play a big difference in the kids today in society. And I'm not gonna lie, that's facts.
I just hate to hear it. No, I know it's not that I'm blaming the music. It's just that when you think about it, like for me, I'm in the Midwest, right? And when people find out that I bump country, I sing country. You know what I'm saying? My mom is from West Virginia, so I grew up on country music. Right away, you know, I'm around my black family, like, oh, you a white boy, man. You over here listening. They called me a white boy my whole life because I was lighter than them. My family shit darker than midnight. You know what I'm saying? And they would call me a white boy because I like to do this or I like to read. When I'm growing up liking to read, they were like, oh, you a nerd, man. You act like, you know, you like the white side of your family and da-da-da. When really the white side of my family didn't read shit either. You know what I'm saying? I just personally like to read. And when you talk about, when we get to talking about the music, it's not that I'm saying that the music is the cause. The only thing that I'm saying is that the music contributes to when you're black and all you see is black people in these that come out making music, and you got these young girls that only listen to rap or R&B, and then they listening to Cardi, or they listening to Megan Thee Stallion, or they listening to Nicki Minaj, or they listening to whoever it is. All they talk about is being hoes, and they make being a hoe cool to the point where now girls is like, oh, she's not a hoe just because y'all do it all the time. Guys do it all the time. It's wrong when a guy does it too. When a guy's out being a hoe is wrong too. That's why there's so many, you know what I'm saying, broken homes the way that they are. That's just the way that it is. And that's what we say to excuse the culture. The culture needs to be fixed. We need to stop praising, put it like this, When the kids that shot up the schools or did whatever, they blame Marilyn Manson or they blamed Eminem, right? Y'all remember that? Because they know that music is that important. They know that it has an influence on the way that people live. And they target. Why do you think that every radio station is targeted by the demographic? For more black people, more black populated area, there's a lot more hip hop stations. When you go down south, when I leave and go towards like Indianapolis or Kentucky or something, I hear more country stations. When you go over towards like Mexico, whatever, you got Latin stations or where there's a Latin community. That's what they do. They target it because it's like a bit of programming, and that's what they call it. You know what I'm saying? Even TV, the TV shows that we get to watch, the things that they do, man, it is destroying the minds of the young people because they grow up wanting to be like these people. They don't grow up wanting to be like a Martin Luther King because they don't know nothing about Martin Luther King until when February come around. They don't grow up wanting to be like Malcolm X because they don't know nothing about Malcolm X because they only hear about Malcolm X when February come around. They don't want to be like no Obama because they only heard about Obama when he was president. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to be like anybody that is morally great and intellectually strong. They only want to be like the people that they hear in the music or on the TV. That's who they try to be like. That's who they emulate. That's who their idols are. And if it's not music, well, then it's sports. And then you got all these kids and even grown-ass men caught up in fantasy football and drafts for this shit and 2K11 and all whatever it is that they play. You know what I'm saying? And when they get caught up in that, they're distracted to what's actually going on outside. They're distracted to what their kids are actually doing. They're distracted to life. And it's become culture. That's become culture. It's okay for the man to not go out and do nothing. He can sit home and play 2K while mama go and get it. If daddy even there. You know what I'm saying? That's just become culture. It's become culture for girls to go ahead and get pregnant and then go get an abortion because they were just irresponsible and they don't want the baby. It's become a cultural thing. Abortion is like it's no big deal now. I remember when it was something hard to even talk about. And now because they pushed it so hard and they put a whole bunch of Planned Parenthoods in black communities, there's so many Planned Parenthoods around the corner from you. These little young girls, 13, 14, out having sex, getting pregnant, getting rid of the baby to hide it from their mom. Some of the moms let them. Some of the moms is okay. They let the boyfriends come over and stay the night. Little dude come over and they sleeping together. The boy's mama don't know nothing about it. So then these families are arguing because the mama don't let her baby go out and get pregnant and have a baby by a little dude that wasn't ready to have a baby. And he don't know nothing about life. So he's not probably going to be around. There's all types of things, man, that need to be fixed within our own culture. That's what I say. That's my opinion. Our culture, we need to fix within ourselves, within our culture, and stop turning a blind eye to it. Stop turning a blind eye to the shit. Hard discussion, but needs to be talked about. Dallas, I see you itching.
Man, I'm just gonna slow down real quick, you guys. Listen, we're going on like 2 hours, and at this point, I really can care less. I really enjoy this conversation. I want to say this, man. As I listen to you talk, I'll be honest with you guys. The reason why I brought up my and then I got nervous because Cash put me on a solo shot. But I wanted to bring that up because the point of, you know, just because you go through something in the past, just because your father didn't do this or his father didn't do that and his father didn't do that. I respect people who don't believe in generational curses. Even if you take that word out, curse sounds a little spooky, but just generational issues that we don't address. The point is, I still lost my family. I still lost something that mean a lot to me. My son still got traumatized. My son still went through shit that I had to deal with. You can't take that away. Your decisions are your own decisions. As I sit here and listen to you talk, Cash, I'll be honest with you in your audience. Remember, I told you this. I was worried about you because until we talked. And I said, man, because predominantly your audience is Caucasian, and which is beautiful. But I was worried that you were kind of giving them a way out, giving, you know, to hear a black man to go through what you've been through, to hear what you just said for the last 10 minutes is a lot. What I hope from this point forward on this show, that you guys will be willing to like really listen, because those things, like when we talk about the music industry, it is truly a fact, y'all. For whatever reason, some of us don't even know why. But do you know that if we put out a positive record, if we put it, this is important. If we put out a positive, it's been done to me. And so if the audience is truly wanting to get educated, I'm here for it, man. I ain't gonna lie. Until Cash said, hey man, come on the show, dude. No, fuck that, big bro. Let's go. Let's do this. I stopped believing in people that gave a fuck. At this point, I didn't think people really cared. You know, which is that's a stinking thinking, of course. But sometimes you do that just to get forward and just to move on. Say, hey, listen, stop asking people to fucking love you. Stop asking people to care about. Sometimes you just gotta not give a fuck about that and just move forward. But this show is bringing me back into a position that's very important, right? So I want to say it's like, first of all, I want to thank Russo. Your potato salad, man, you didn't put raisins in it. It was delicious. Welcome to the barbecue. But Cash, you just went on a it's not a rant, but you went on such a deep dive in things that we face in Black America. We say, well, color doesn't matter. Well, how come from Fred Hampton to Malcolm X, why do they assassinate us? Why is all of our good people shot dead? What is it? So is it a force against our rise? Is there truly something blocking us no matter how hard we fucking try? Listen, okay, that's the question. If we want to understand, if people don't give a fuck, that's fine too. That's fine too. I see it firsthand. I've dealt with it firsthand. I'll give you a small example. Cash, know I'm dope with the bars. I ain't gonna spit none right here. But I had an opportunity to be on R. Kelly's label because of my ex-wife. That was her family. And you guys, do you know that? And I don't think this just had to do with race. It just had to do with the control of the music industry.
The positivity.
Right. He said, listen, you guys are so fucking good. Now, we had positive songs, right? It didn't have religious tones in it, not a lot, just a lot of positivity, kind of like the Black Eyed Peas, right, of the hood. He said, give me 20 songs. Give me 5 of them radio ready, and I'll get you guys on. Okay, long story short, we had one record that was very sexual. And deep down, I knew we shouldn't have put that on that demo. And my ex-wife said, please don't fucking put that on. In my mind, just like, I want to fucking, you want to be rich. You want success. And sometimes you're willing to, do what you got to do to get in the door. And then you can do whatever you want to do after that. But she said, Dallas, it never works that way. Let's just stay, 10 toes down, that we're a positive group. We don't have to bend down. And if we don't make it, we don't make it. We sat in the room with them for 3 hours on that one record. And they wanted us to fuck around naked on camera for that one song. They said, listen, if you just do that one record, we'll let you get all the positive records in after that. And we sat there for 3 hours and fought them for that. And that's when I realized that there is a force, that there are forces that are against not just Black people rise, but just against our grassroots level rise, right? So
were you pissed off after that? No,
I wasn't pissed on,
too soon.
I was pissed off. No, listen, it was
R. Kelly joke. I got it.
There was the reason why I brought up the thing with my wife is because of this. To this day, man, like no matter what color, like I do everything I can. When I lost my father, everything to me now, when I look at my mom getting older, she's you see your mom starting to wrinkle up and they this and that, and you really have to deal with the mortality of people that you love. And at some point, all of this other bullshit just doesn't matter. And that, I've chased money my whole life. I've chased this success we're talking about and all. And God, one time he just told me, he said, man, brother, one day, your mom's not going to be here. He said, and that little coffee that she wants to give with you in the morning and you're ignoring that little cup of coffee, he said, that's your $50 million right there. And the point I want to make with that is just that, I truly think that these little, coffee shop talks like this are extremely valuable. And so I hope moving forward, man, that we, again, I don't know what we plan to do. Like, I don't, we're not into this to take down the government or take down the fucking, power structure. But I truly hope that there is a end all for this, man. Because at this point, I'll be honest with you, I don't. I'm not saying I've lost all faith. It's just hard to see what the end of this is going to be.
It's going to be amazing, brother. Don't trip. We're not only going to restore faith in humanity, we're going to help unite it. All shades, all colors. We're going to be so close. That's the whole point of this, is to get people to become so united and so close that we won't need to have a talk about reparations because your neighbor wouldn't want to see you go without. That's the whole point of all of this. So we getting there.
We're getting there.
All right. You guys, it's been a very good show. I want everybody to go ahead and give your final thoughts. Please don't take up too much time. Try to keep it around 20 seconds so we can get out of here. It's been well over 2 hours, which we were supposed to be at an hour. And we went over. But it was great to do. I'm going to start with you, Miss Gabby, because you've been getting cut short. So go right ahead.
Well, I'm just gonna say, normally I get angry when, like I get cut short, but lately, like the more I do this show, the more patience I started having, the more understanding I started having, and I've always been a person to listen to everyone's input and let them voice their opinion, but I've been finding myself always having to say something back because I don't feel like what you're saying is right and justifiable. And so with that being said, we have a long way to go. When they said we the people, that literally meant we the people, like everybody. You see what I'm saying? The human race. And at some point, some got to give. Like we have to find a way to just stop, pause, think, and come together because I don't see anything really changing, and it's sad. It's really sad to see people sitting here saying we living in our last days and the end of time and Jesus is coming. And at one point, I'm not gonna lie, I swear to God, I sat here and I remember looking up and saying, Jesus, come on, please just come. And no, I wasn't ready, but I mean, it took me to that point because of where the world is right now. And with that being said, I want to say, rest in peace, Cannon. And it's like, it seems like it's a whole nother thing going on with this. And that's really all I have today.
My sister, I appreciate you so much. You know that, right? I really do.
Sir.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to put you backstage, and if you want, you could wait or you could go. But we'll have a little end discussion when everybody's done together. All right?
All right.
All right, Miss Ashley, what's your final thoughts?
I don't know. I think I've said pretty much how I feel. I just want people to know that at the end of the day, you know, it's about yourself, and it starts with yourself. Work hard, it pays off. Don't judge the next person. Just be understanding, and everybody will work through it, man. Just that's my own take on it.
Okay.
That's it.
Appreciate you so much for being a part of the show. I'm gonna set you backstage as well, and we will do our discussion as soon as we're done. Okay. All right, Mr. Isaiah, go right ahead.
All right. So I guess my last statements would be, once we learn to come together, we could be our own reparations. You feel me? Once we really come together as a Black community, we could be the ones who give back to each other. You know what I mean? So I think that if we really come together, we could really be a powerful force in this world. So
All right,
that's
little
all I
brother, I
really want to end
appreciate
off
you,
on.
man. Straight up. Thank you for coming on. I can't wait to have you back on. I'm gonna put you backstage and we're gonna wrap.
Yeah. No.
Mr. Real.
All right. I just end with this, man. I think we need to get rid of old systems. We've had old systems in place in this country for decades. I mean, if you look at Washington and Congress, man, these guys are in their 70s and 80s, and they've been sitting there for well over 30 years. So I think we need to get rid of old systems. And any computer system needs to be upgraded. And I think we're in a time in the season where our government needs an upgrade, and we need to start something new. But it has to come from a mature place and a place of unity, or else it won't work. You can't just throw a bunch of stuff together and think it's gonna work, because we at a crossroads where some of the young people are too free and too liberal to be there, and you got some of the old people too stuck in their ways. So we got to kind of bridge the gap and figure out how we can put a system in place that's going to benefit not just one class, but it's going to benefit everybody. And so I
got you, my brother. I'm gonna sit you backstage. Mr. Dallas, Carter X, my brother, what's your final thoughts?
My final thoughts, man. Again, I'm always grateful to be on here. To the people listening, you know, wow, communication it's a skill set that we should all definitely learn more. I'm learning a lot from you guys. I hope that you guys would have me on maybe a 3-way like this, and we can kind of go in deeper.
I'm gonna talk to you about it. We are.
But I'll say this, guys. I'm at a place in life right now where, man, even with my own religion, I mean, I've questioned everything, and I love everything that I've been raised up with, from the church to the mosque to this and to that. But at the end of the day, it makes me feel good to give, no matter what color. When I see somebody hurting, it fills my soul up. It really does. When they look at me and they don't know, huh?
Gave me chills right now, bro.
I got it on that one too.
When they don't know.
That was powerful. Go ahead.
I see an older white guy, maybe in his 60s, and I see someone in pain. I don't see my enemy. I just see someone that needs me to talk to him. I don't have money on me all the time, right? With a debit card, right? But I give him 3 pennies, and he just sits there like, he looks at me like, damn, I didn't even think you would talk to me, you know? And that now, my day, in my time now, I'm seeing that just understanding people at a molecular level, man, is where my riches are. I'm 41. I know you're younger than me, Russo. I'm just saying, at 41, you start going through changes, guys. You know, you start going through, you realize your mortality, and you understand you're in your second half of life. And then you get a blessing like this, where your little brother's fucking viral. And he says, hey, man, come on, national, and brings me back out of a retirement where I kind of gave up. So I tell you, man, I love it. I appreciate you guys for allowing me on, and I hope that we can start talking and getting towards certain solutions.
My brother, we will.
Maybe we could buy some, not a Jonestown, but maybe we could buy some land and You and Russo be the president and vice president. But anyway, man, I appreciate you guys.
Hey, I appreciate you too, my brother. And I just want you to know that how you just talk about your little brother being viral. Part of that is because of you, because you was one of my first teachers and one of my greatest. So I appreciate you for being you. Don't change. All right?
Well, I'm going to change for the better.
Exactly.
I'll be the change.
Got you. There you go. Oh, plugged it.
Brought to you by COVID. Nope. They didn't make it.
Get backstage, man. Get backstage.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys. Love you.
Love you too, brother. All right, Russo. It's on you, man.
All right. So when he says Jonestown, real quick. So if it was our version of Jonestown, will we have to have purple stuff instead of Kool-Aid? No? Maybe? Okay. All right. So
it's purple drink.
So white. Damn it. Okay. Cash, you can see, is everybody backstage right now?
Yes.
So my final point is, you look at a group of people like this, and you look at specifically somebody like Mr. Real or Dallas specifically, who, to me, from a level of listening, I lean in and I take time to. This is such a good group to learn from. But when you really look at it, is right now, after we just had a discussion where we don't fully agree, all I want to do is go grab a drink with you all. Like, this is a group that you would not see in one place at one time ever. And we're through the midst of everything going on. I think that's what we realize. If we learn how to have the conversation in the right way, and we let the people that are on the outside, the outliers, the rioters, and the people that are saying things like that girl with reparations and Gucci purses, we let the good people start to come together, and they'll start feeling left out.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing a group like this, on top of all the different solutions we can find, ultimately having 9 diverse people into one group where we all, in our own way, became friends. And you knew all these people, but I think we've all connected on different levels. And I think it's something to completely strive for. And that the easiest solution is to be good to each other. And that is how we start to be the change. That is step one, being the change. That's it. Thank you, Cash, as always, for having me on. Your guests are amazing. Amazing.
I love this, man. I appreciate you, my brother. I'll see you in a second. Okay, final thoughts. So check it out, man. There was a lot of things discussed right now today on this show. But something that I do want you guys to know. Yes, there is a force that is holding people back. There is. I'm gonna be totally honest about it. There is. It's the same force that causes 900,000 children to go missing a year. It's the same force that causes people to go out and murder each other. It's the same force that says you can only make it in the entertainment business if you talk about sex and violence and drugs. It's the same force that doesn't want you to unite. It's the same force that causes division. It's the same force. Whether you want to call that force evil or control or the top 1%, it's up to you. But the force is real. For we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but against principalities and spiritual wickedness in high places. That's what the battle is with. That's who we're battling. We're battling against the thought process. We're battling against the way of life that keeps people like us needing. That's what we're battling against. That being said, we will not be divided. We will not be destroyed. We will not be detoured. We will not be silenced. We're coming together. People are waking up. And it's so much more than political or religious. We're waking up spirits, is how I like to look at it. We're revitalizing the spirit of good people. Because for too long, good spirits have been kept down and overshadowed by the bad. So this is the time that we're taking it back. and we're changing things, and we're making a stand together. That's what we're going to do. So if you're with me in this, stay a part of this. Practice what we preaching. Unite, don't fight. Be a street light, because only you can be the change that you want to see in the world. United we stand, divided we fall. And we've been falling for too long. Put your hand out and help your brother up. Help your sister up. We got work to do. Y'all have a good night.